Beer brewing starts with four key ingredients: water, malt, hops, and yeast. The type of malt and yeast you use determines whether you're making an ale, stout, or lager. Ales ferment at warmer temperatures, while lagers require cooler conditions. Stouts get their deep flavors from roasted malts. Understanding these basics is crucial before diving into specific recipes. Ready to craft your own perfect brew? Let's explore the recipes. A classic pale ale starts with pale malt as the base, combined with caramel malts for sweetness. Hops like Cascade or Centennial add citrusy and floral notes. Ferment with an ale yeast at around 68 degrees, 20 degrees for a balanced, slightly fruity profile. After 2 weeks, bottle and carbonate for another 2 weeks. The result, a crisp, refreshing ale with a perfect balance of malt and hops. For a robust stout, start with a mix of pale malt, roasted barley, and chocolate malt. These grains give the beer its signature dark color and deep coffee-like flavors. Use English hops like Fuggle for a mild bitterness. Ferment with an ale yeast at 65 degrees, 18 degrees. After fermentation, let it condition for a few weeks to develop smoothness. The result? A rich, creamy stout with roasted and chocolatey notes. Lager brewing requires patience. Start with Pilsner malt for a clean, crisp base. Use noble hops like Saaz for a mild bitterness. The key difference? Lager yeast ferments at cooler temperatures, around 50 degrees Celsius, 10 degrees. So after primary fermentation, lager it at near freezing temperatures for several weeks. This slow process results in a smooth, crisp beer with a clean finish. Perfect for those who love a refreshing, easy-drinking brew. Want a hoppy, aromatic IPA? Start with a base of pale malt and add generous amounts of hops like Citra, Simcoe, or Mosaic. These hops provide bold citrus, pine, and tropical fruit flavors. Ferment with an ale yeast at 68 degrees, 20 degrees, and dry hop after a few days for extra aroma. After conditioning, you'll have a bold, hop-forward beer with a crisp malt backbone, perfect for hop lovers. A traditional German Hefeweizen is all about wheat malt and a special yeast strain. Use at least 50% wheat malt for a smooth, cloudy appearance. The yeast produces banana and clove flavors, which define this style. Ferment at 68 degrees, 20 degrees for a balanced profile. After conditioning, you'll have a refreshing, slightly sweet beer with a creamy mouthfeel, perfect for warm weather. A rich malty Doppelbock requires patience. Start with Munich malt for deep caramel and toasty flavors. Use noble hops sparingly to keep bitterness low. Ferment with a lager yeast at 50 degrees Celsius, 10 degrees Celsius, then lager for several weeks. The result? A smooth, full-bodied beer with notes of caramel, bread, and dark fruit. Perfect for sipping on a cold evening. A refreshing Kolsch is a hybrid between an ale and a lager. Use Pilsner malt for a light body and noble hops for a mild bitterness. Ferment with a Kolsch yeast at 60 degrees, 16 degrees for a clean, slightly fruity profile. After fermentation, cold condition for a few weeks. The result? A crisp, delicate beer with a subtle fruitiness and a dry finish. Perfect for summer. A smooth, creamy milk stout gets its sweetness from lactose, an unfermentable sugar. Start with pale malt, roasted barley, and chocolate malt. Add lactose during the boil for a rich, velvety texture. Use English hops for balance and ferment, with an ale yeast at 65 degrees, 18 degrees. After conditioning, you'll have a sweet, full-bodied stout with notes of coffee and chocolate, perfect for dessert. A crisp, refreshing Pilsner requires precision. Use Pilsner malt for a light, clean base and noble hops like Saaz for a floral, spicy aroma. Ferment with a lager yeast at 50 degrees Celsius, 10 degrees Celsius, and lager for several weeks. The result? A bright golden beer with a crisp, dry finish and a balanced bitterness. Perfect for those who love a classic, easy drinking brew.